ever since I bought this tractor, my mind has just been brewing with ideas on how to make this the coolest tractor I possibly can. And I've had some ideas, and by the end of the video, I'm gonna build a super cool rock box toolbox combo, get an inverter put in the cab, and just do some buttoning up and getting some other things ready for planting season, which is coming a lot faster than we expect it to. So back when I farmed with my dad and my brother, and I was using their tractors, they all had custom built rock boxes on them. Now my dad built all these rock boxes and they were super cool. They were a platform that like went off the side of the hood, and it was a nice level. You could pick up rocks, you could put stuff in it, you could put parts in it, and I want to make my own version for this tractor. And then on the side of that custom rock box, I'm gonna mount this massive DeWalt toolbox. That way I can have all the tools that I need. So if I break down in the field, hopefully I don't have to drive somewhere to fix stuff. I'll have everything I need right here. Now I've been kind of playing with some different layouts, but I think I have something in mind. So let's get to work. And the thing is that since this is my first year farming by myself, and I have spent a lot of money buying different pieces of equipment that you guys have seen over the past few months here on the channel, I'm doing this on a budget. So therefore, I'm using everything out of our scrap iron pile to make this. So other than my time, this is basically costing me nothing. So this is catwalk grate material. So basically, like if you have a catwalk up in the air, you put this stuff on it and then you walk on it. Now we have been making basically all of our rock boxes out of this material. It's awesome because the holes are small enough that stuff doesn't fall through, yet it's open enough that all the dirt and dust and stuff falls through. So I am just gonna make the rock box the size of this piece because it's already a pretty nice size. And I'm thinking putting it right about here. And then I'm gonna put some 3" by 1/4" steel all the way around it. This is all in the scrap iron bin. In fact, this piece and that piece right there are 100-plus-year-old pieces of steel. My dad came over and looked at what I was doing. He said, those 2 pieces of steel are from the original elevator that sat where our shop is sitting right now. That was built in the early 1900s. And he says it is not very strong, so don't support anything with it, which I wasn't planning on doing because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make something that bolts right up to here. Now this can support the weight because this was actually built for lifting the tractor. So if you need to lift the tractor off the ground, you put a little bracket in here and you jack up. So if it can withstand the weight of the tractor, I think it can withstand a few hundred pounds on a rock box. But anyways, I'm gonna put a plate on here, get some square tubing underneath, and then support this from the bottom side once I get this frame welded up, which I'm gonna do right now. For everyone wondering, the rock box is about 18 inches wide by about 47.5 inches long. So pretty decent sized rock box. So am I an expert welder? Absolutely not. I go by the phrase, oh my gosh. I go by the phrase, a grinder and paint makes me the welder I ain't. But I'm gonna get this just tacked together, make sure it's square, make sure my catwalk grate fits inside. And once I know it's the shape I want it, I'll go ahead and weld every corner up so I have a nice square. That's a rectangle. I broke it off. Well, this 100-year-old steel is not welding very well, so I'm just going to crank the heat up and see what happens. Well, I got a square box. Did my weld look absolutely beautiful? No. Did I have to hit them with a grinder? No. So now to actually hold this material inside of this frame, I have some angle iron here. Now this is just going to sit like that, and then it'll create a nice little ledge for that material to sit on. And I have 2 pieces cut out right now for the longer sides. I will get some on the shorter sides as well, so I can support it from all 4 sides. So now I'm just gonna weld a nice little bead right along that. Now this is gonna be presentable, so I gotta do a better job with this bead right here, because you'll be able to see this real easy. Well, there we go. I'm making a lot of progress. I got both pieces of angle iron welded on, so now I have a nice little lip on the bottom where my catwalk grate can fit in. This piece right here, I may have welded and then realized I did it completely wrong. Went through about 8 batteries, grinded the whole thing off, and then re-welded it on. Just saying, that might have happened, and I may have forgot to record that. Either way, I know I'm not the most beautiful welder in the world by any means, but you know, this is kind of one of those 40-foot jobbies where, you know, you get hit it with wire brush, you spray paint it black. 40, 30 foot away, it looks pretty good. Once you get it close, then you realize that, you know, it's not as high quality as I thought, but it'll do the job and it'll be cheap because I didn't have to hire anyone to weld this. Actually, you know, it ain't terrible. It's just, the problem was that after I grinded it, the edge was no longer straight, so I kind of had to follow it. So that's going to be my excuse. Anyways, now I just got to make some angle iron pieces for the short ends. And the piece that I was using, the big piece of angle iron, there's not enough of it to do the rest of it. So I found this piece of angle iron. It looks like it came straight off the Titanic. And I'm just going to cut the pieces to size, wire brush them, weld them in, and then actually finally put the catwalk piece in the bottom. Okay, I need to be just shy of 16 inches, so pull this out a bit. Like right there. And a little trick for you guys, a little tip, life tip, farm tip, is if you want to cut 2 or more identical pieces, you take the piece you just cut, you then feed more material through, you lower the bandsaw so the blade is just above the material, you then lay the one you just cut right on top, and you push it back until it hits the blade. You clamp it down, remove that extra material so it doesn't get caught. Bam, 2 identical size pieces. You know, that method is a true measure once, cut twice method, rather than, you know, measure twice, cut once. Kind of cool. Man, those welds look so much better than the last ones. Usually I'm a 2-handed welder, so I have 2 hands on the gun. but because this thing wants to fall over, I had one stabilizing and I was just dragging it along the surface of my other hand, and it actually don't look too bad. Like, I'm pretty proud of that. I don't know. I don't think that looks too terribly. I mean, the middle where I kind of started and then left doesn't look that great, but the rest of it looks pretty good. I'll take it. This should fit inside. I should be able to weld it in there. Oh, beautiful. Look at this beautiful box. That fit in there absolutely perfectly. Everything is hitting the little lip. I can just weld those in. And I got myself a nice rock box that's not attached yet. So now that I got my platform made, let's take a break and move to the cab of my Challenger tractor here. Now, some of you guys have been watching for a while might remember me installing this in the 8345 RT back when I farmed my dad and my brother. This is a 400 watt inverter, so basically it turns DC power into AC power, so I can get 2 outlets, and then I also get 2 fast charging USB ports. Now, I love having these things in tractors because, well, first of all, being a YouTuber, I always have camera gear on me, drone, and being an agri-GPS dealer, lots of times I have my laptop on me in case I have to write invoices or send emails and stuff. And just having a couple electrical outlets in a tractor is really nice when I need to charge batteries and other things. The other thing that's really nice for is lots of times I have a grease gun and a couple power tools along with me. If a battery dies, I usually have a battery charger here in the cab, and I can plug it into this and charge batteries in the field. Now, the problem is that I designed this bracket and 3D printed it for a John Deere monitor bar. Now, my Case H, my Challenger monitor bar is different. So you see how I have this like T-slot holder on the bottom of this one? Well, this monitor bar does not have a T-slot holder. It just has these holes on it. So my plan is to grind this off and then drill a couple new holes because the bracket's still really nice. I really don't, I mean, if I don't have to design and 3D print something and create extra waste, I don't want to. So I think I can just grind that off, drill a couple holes, mount it on here, and then get it wired in. But before I do that, I've been wanting to do this ever since I bought this tractor. So if you look at my steering wheel, the little thing that's in the center of the steering wheel is missing. It just has this horn wire and it's just kind of ugly. It doesn't affect anything, but I was just gonna live with it forever. But the other day, I finally figured out how to use AGCO's website and look at the parts book for this tractor. I managed to actually find the center cover button. It was like 33 bucks. I'm a little disappointed that it doesn't come with the Challenger logo in the middle like the original one did, but it'll clean up my steering wheel a lot. Now, I'm pretty sure my horn does not work, which is what it is. Maybe I'll have to see if I can find a new horn because my little nephew really likes to honk the horn, so maybe I'll have to do it for him. But let's see if I can't get this to fit. Okay, my steering wheel's straight. I want the horn button at the very bottom. Just like that. Look at that! Oh my goodness, that looks so much better. Let's see if the horn works. I'll have the battery turned off. Turn the key on. Nope, horn doesn't work. Maybe I'll fix that later. I don't know. But at least this looks better. Maybe I should 3D print a little logo, a little 6-gen farmer logo, and put it in the middle of my cap. So I grinded that off, drilled a couple new holes. Now, I was sitting here installing this, and I'm thinking, you know, either I could have it like this, or, you know, like this. You know, I drilled 2 holes, but I guess, you know, one should be able to hold it just fine if I tighten it down. And then I started thinking,
down here, I have a couple more bolt holes that I can remove. I could build a platform for like charging things, to put like different chargers on here, and then underneath it, put some footrests. Just have to bolt it onto this corner post right here. I like how the more I think and the more I, plan stuff, the more work I have to do for myself. But before I get too far ahead of myself, I got it mounted. I think that's kind of a good way to put it. Like I have some cables coming out here. If I don't like it, I just gotta loosen this bolt and twist it a little bit either way. But keep moving forward. It was using a cigarette lighter plug, or whatever you want to call this. And while that's convenient, a couple issues with it. First of all, it's a really short cable. I don't even have any cigarette lighter plugs nearby. Second of all, you can't get very much power out of these. They're kinda, you're very, very limited on power if you plug in one of these. However, my tractor back here has this handy dandy accessory port thing. So I'm gonna wire into this, and then I can turn on my inverter with these switches back here, depending on which one I wire it into. So I got the wire ran, just ran it underneath my monitor bar here, down the side, down to my connectors. Now, theoretically, if I hit this switch, this should light up. Or is it this switch? Does the key need to be on? Ah, there we go. Key needs to be on. Okay, got it. This switch with the key on will turn my inverter on. So now I can charge power tool batteries, laptops, cameras, drones, you name it. I got power. So I got my bracket cut out and drilled the holes in order to be able to put it right here on this plate on the tractor. Now I also happen to find a 5x3 by 1/4 inch thick squared tube to weld to this bracket to help support the tray or the platform I'll be sticking out here. So I'm thinking about having it stick out about 6 inches from the tractor, because that'll give me room to undo my hood latch right here. So I'm gonna weld this together, and then I'm gonna measure out how long I need the square tubing to be. So I'm gonna use this square tubing to then support the platform, and I'm probably gonna have 3 different pieces of square tubing come out to support it. So I skipped a couple steps. Haven't filmed for a little bit, but I built a basic stand. I'm just gonna see if when we bolt it on, if it looks level or if it's like super crooked, because it was kind of all eyeballed. I'm not a great precise measurement.
I think I usually built them on here, actually.
Yeah. Problem is that I don't know how to get a welder or anything back here. I mean, if we just looks pretty good.
I think you're downhill or down. I think your front is really heavy.
Is it?
31.
That's, I gotta go to the top. 31 1/4.
Okay. Wait. 31 1/4. Tad under 32. I mean,
Right.
I think it looks pretty good.
I was right though, it was downhill.
You're right, it is a little higher in the front. This is the most level this tractor's ever gonna sit. I mean, the second you get in the field, it's not gonna be level and you won't ever notice. I mean, even here, if we would've got it out, it's more higher in the front than I thought it was gonna be. If we didn't have the tape measure, I would've guessed about 1/4 inch between the two. More than, but yeah. So now, I think if I just get some metal, go at an angle from up here.
Well, you didn't mess around there, did you?
No, we welded the whole thing. I don't want any dirt getting in there and rusting it out.
I must usually put the angle on the inside, because I didn't. Mine are clean.
No, you had the angle on the outside. I'm pretty sure. I think so. I don't know, maybe not. I don't know. It's a box.
Hey. Tad's gonna have something to be proud of. Okay, so we get this,
Honestly, it might have a little more wiggle room in it.
but that's the wrong way.
Oh.
We gotta lift the bad boy off again.
Probably, yeah.
I wonder if you wouldn't run a bar just from here to, I don't know if you got an angle, but you just run it.
Where? From
a square 2x2.
you think there's enough up here?
What?
You think there's enough support right here?
Yeah.
It's just
Plenty there, I just rather than angle, that's difficult.
okay.
I think it's straight one more.
Straight way out to here and
Yeah.
not even wrong.
You got that angle. You could probably just go to here.
Okay.
So, I mean, just to keep it from twisting.
Yeah.
Okay, let's.
Okay. Yep.
Put this here on the bottom.
Okay. So I had the box itself all welded together. It's solid, ready to go, but I want to add my toolbox on. So I'm going to weld on this little bit of square tubing right here and right here, and then I'll be able to drill holes through it and then bolt my toolbox right on top of those. And then we're getting ready for paint and primer. Primer, then paint. Gosh, this might be the most solid thing I have ever built. Now, I know I'm not wearing my mask, but I'm just gonna do one quick light layer primer and then I'm gonna go home because it's getting late out. Yes, this has been a multi-day project because I've been spending like an hour here, an hour there. I haven't been focused on it, per se. I've had other things going on. Yeah, that took me all of about 15 seconds before I started choking. Might as well put the respirator on. There we go. Yep. Thank you. You know, this looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy. Oh my goodness, I'm pretty happy about this. The only design flaw I see so far is that I made it so these bottom bolts, you need to use a wrench, you can't use an impact, but not that big of a deal. I'll just tighten the bottom two with a wrench really tight, maybe get a breaker bar and a socket to get them really tight, and then I'll use an impact for the top two. Done. So before I attach my toolbox here, when I was jumping up and down on this thing, it felt like it was moving a little bit, but I really couldn't see where. But after examining it a bit more closely, it looks like I actually slightly bent the sheet of metal that is attaching it here. I thought with all this square tubing I wouldn't have an issue, but it's bending right above that square tubing. So I think what I'm gonna do is probably position this better so I can get the forklift underneath it, pull up on it, bend it back up, and then put a little bit of support right here. I gotta hit these ones with a wrench anyway, so if I put a little support bracket from here to here, should keep that from bending and should be all good. So I took it off, I welded this little gusset on right here. Looks a little bit like an afterthought, but you know, it was. So put it back on, hopefully get the toolbox mounted and jump up and down on it and see if it bends as much as it did before. Wow, that feels way more solid. Good. And here's the finished product. Honestly, it looks better than I thought it did. I'm kind of proud of myself. I think it did a pretty good job. It's fairly level. It looks pretty good. It's very sturdy now that I added that gusset. No longer is it bending back here. And the toolbox is pretty solid. And I already got my metric wrench set in it. Obviously, you can be adding a lot more tools and spare parts and different things in here before the season starts. But between this rock box, this toolbox, the rock box here, which I'll empty out before I head out this spring, and I also got this little toolbox here underneath the steps, I got quite a bit of storage on this tractor. And it's one of the things that, you know, as my dad was building these rock boxes when we first started, having the extra storage can be a lifesaver. Just having those few extra spare parts or tools that you don't need to go drive somewhere and find, or have, you know, call somebody, have them bring them to you. Just really, really nice. It also acts as a stand for if you're working on something on the top of the engine. Makes it a lot easier. I know I've used that multiple times on the John Deere tractors. And behind the scenes, I also started building myself a footrest / platform. So it's in the primer stage right now. I should probably throw the first layer of paint on it. But this will go on the corner post. So this is the back of it right here. So my feet will be resting on this. And then I'm gonna put a piece of plywood over the top of this little T-bar that I made here. And then put some like felt or like fake grass on it or something. So I can put a battery charger for my power tools and my drone and my laptop on there. So I have a nice place to set stuff and charge things. So that'll be really nice. And I can rest my feet on it. Okay, let's get this thing installed. I have a piece of plywood in the back of my pickup so I can make my little platform. And then my cab is basically ready to go. Pretty excited for this thing. It'll be a very nice tractor to sit in and work in once I am done with it. Once we got charging and footrests and a spot to put things. Oh, I forgot my washer. Well, there we go. I can now put my feet up on this, rest them, kind of do this. Maybe not do this. It depends on how much wood I put on there, I guess, but I can at least do this. This is really nice. So after doing some measuring, I have decided on a 9x14 little platform. I got my piece of plywood, I marked it out. Now, believe it or not, in the shop, we actually don't have a table saw because we just never, ever do anything with wood. In fact, I had to go to my dad's house to even find any pieces of plywood. But I did find this really old circular saw that I'm pretty sure has the wrong blade on it. But we're gonna go for it anyways. Man, that sucks. I have battery. Something kind of like that. Now, I am going to bolt it on with these little holes on the top of this bracket, but question for you guys, need your guys' help. I'm obviously not going to leave it like a plain wood. I'm gonna put something on it. I've been thinking like maybe the really cheap fake grass or something. If there's anything you guys can think of that won't get super dirty super easily and will kind of look nice and not just be a wood finish, let me know, because I'm really actually struggling on what to wrap this or, you know, put on top of this wood to make it not look like I just have a piece of plywood on top of a metal bracket. So I'm actually gonna leave it here because I'm gonna take this home, wrap it in something, and also make a little lip around the edge for 3D printing. And this video is going up in about 24 hours. So, don't have time to do everything and get the video uploaded. But, thank you guys for watching. I am super excited to finally get this tractor kind of put together the way I want it, be able to make it work better for me and what I'm doing. It's going to be a very, very exciting spring when it comes time. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.